Welcome to our Elements of the Game series. In this video, we're going to take a look at different characteristics of tennis rackets and how they affect your game. Let's jump straight in. The one we've got here is 107 inch. Just talk to us sort of what the difference is between, different sizes of heads and tennis rackets.
So I think this would be the 95 actually. So you're going to get more power with that one, whereas I'll get a little bit more control. What you'll find is more club players will probably use that one, or people that will have slightly slower swing speed, whereas players who want a bit more control, they can kind of generate their own power. So they'll take the control and generate with their body, and they'll go for probably closer to sort of 98 to 100.
With the smaller heads, there's sort of less room for error, isn't there?
Yeah, the sweet spot's definitely less, whereas you'll have a bigger sweet spot, but then it's probably a little bit tougher to maneuver. So it's just trying to get that balance.
The small head means always a small string bed, less movement of the strings, and therefore the player will have more control. Bigger head size will always mean more distance between the strings. They can move more, can create more power, also more spin.
The 16 by 19 string is the open string pattern, whereas the 18 by 20 is closed. If you go for the 16-19, it'll increase how much spin and revolutions on the ball, but then you've got to remember that it's going to be less durable because there's less strings. Whereas people who hit it a little bit flatter will probably go for the closed string pattern.
Of course, the 18x20 string pattern will always block a bit more and not move too much. As the boxes are quite small, the rackets will not bite the ball too much. This means the ball will be played really controllable by the player. 16x19 will always move a bit more when the ball is coming, give the ball more power, but the strings will open a bit more, and this means the ball can also go out with a bit more spin.
Well, the weight's pretty key. Obviously, as a child growing up, they can't have a too heavy a racket, so that's quite important. Whereas people will generally go for heavy rackets when they want more power. So with a light one, it's obviously easy to swing. So if you go up in the weight, you do definitely feel the increase in the power, but then you almost need to get the balance right, because if it's too heavy for you, it obviously will put a little bit more pressure on the elbow. So the weight is pretty key.
A high racket weight means also when they go with full swing through the ball, that the racket will really have a stable swing, and also that they get more power. If the racket weight gets lower, this means always that the handling is getting better.
You've got sort of head heavy rackets, head light. An easy way to sort of think about it is putting your fingers sort of in the center there. That's pretty balanced because it's not tipping either way. Generally, the head heavy players would be the ones who are looking more aggressive baseline kind of game style, whereas the sort of head light rackets are probably suited more to an all-rounder, so someone who's looking a little bit more control, a little bit more precision.
I've seen RA ratings. What exactly are they, and is it something that sort of us as players need to be aware of?
They sort of differ between 0 and 100. The higher the number, the stiffer the racket is. So it's basically a measure of kind of the flexibility when you're hitting the ball. And it's similar to the weight of the racket. The higher you go in terms of stiffness, the more power you get, whereas the lower, you kind of a little bit more control and less power. People can use what their game style is and base their racket upon it a little bit more. So whether you're an aggressive baseliner, you need more power, you might go for a slightly heavier racket and maybe a little bit stiffer, but kind of basing it on how you play. Grip size, if you've got small hands and you're ordering a grip size 4, it's going to be a little bit too big, and that's where you'll find that the ball will fly probably too long because it's quite tough to control, but you've got more power. And just making sure that kind of the racket length, so if you're a kid growing up, you're not going straight into an adult racket.
Thanks very much for watching our video. Hope you enjoyed yourself and learned a little bit too. Make sure to check out our other Elements of the Game videos. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.